for tuning into this episode of Coda Country Chats. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Riley Roth. How are you today, Riley?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And Riley and I were talking a little bit before we started the episode. We've been like bouncing back and forth and trying to solidify a date and a time to finally sit down. And so this is a very anticipated call. I'm so
Yay!
excited to have you on.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, let's dive in and let's talk a little bit about your single that you just released back on October 18th, Give
Mhm.
Me Away. I gotta tell you, it made me a little misty eyed, just a little.
Ah!
It's such a beautiful song. Let's talk about how that song came to be. Talk about the writing process, everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Writing the song made me so emotional. I knew I wanted to write a song for my dad for our father-daughter dance on my wedding day. He means so much to me, and I knew that moment was going to mean so much to me. And I'm the kind of person where I love to tell people the way I feel about them through song. I think there's just something really beautiful about combining the words that you feel about them, but also with a melody that's so emotive. So I got together with my husband, Kyle, and one of my near and dear co writers, Donna King. And I knew they would be the perfect team to create this song about my dad. And honestly, I just spoke from the heart, um, talking about like my childhood and how he was the first man to hold me and the first one to know me. But then also what the moment was going to mean to me on the wedding day. And we really kind of honed in on this idea of, your dad gives you away on your wedding day, but there's also all these other things that he gives you throughout your life. So that was kind of the main focus in the chorus, and we just had so much fun writing it, and it was just such a gift for me to be able to
Yeah.
play this for my dad and surprise him with it on my wedding day.
That was going to be my next question is like, did you surprise him? Did he know ahead of time? Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
He had no idea, and I was so nervous that he was gonna accidentally find out. When planning a
Mhm.
wedding, you do a lot of video calls with your DJ and your planner, and I actually did a lot from my parents' house. They live near me in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and so I was like, "We're gonna whisper this part when we talk about the father-daughter dance song," and, I was just so nervous someone was gonna accidentally let it slip, myself included, so I was so happy. He had absolutely no idea. I actually gave him a coffee mug on the morning of the wedding that had the song lyrics on it. First man to hold me, first one to know me, first love that I ever had. And I was like, I'm hoping this goes over his head and he thinks it's just like a sweet note and he's not like suspicious. But
Mhm.
he was totally surprised. It was great.
That's kind of like a teaser, like kind of like what's the word? Like foreshadowing. Like he didn't even
Yeah.
know, and now now when he gets the mug back, I'm sure he's like, "Oh my gosh, he's in the song." That's
Yes,
so
exactly.
beautiful. Oh my gosh,
Thank
that's
you.
so beautiful. Okay, so when you released it,
Mhm.
how long after your wedding did that process take? So, like, you recorded the song, played it at your wedding. When was
Yeah.
it released after that? How long?
So, my wedding date was September 21st of this year,
Yeah.
and I believe when I first posted a video of it, it was October 1st. And genuinely, like, I thought it was just, like, a sweet moment. A few people at our wedding was like, "You should definitely post that." I was not thinking it would turn into what it has turned into. I mean, genuinely, it was just a song I wrote for my dad. But it blew up, for lack of a better word. And it's been just absolutely crazy. I think before the song was released, it got like 36 million social media views, which is
Yeah.
wild. I will never
Yeah.
get over that. So obviously I was scrambling to release the song, and the version that I played at the wedding was the demo version. And we kind of added like a few elements to it. My husband added some dobro, just like some like synth moments just to build it out a little bit. But
Yeah.
it is the demo vocal and everything. And I
Wow.
want to say, yeah, release date was October 18th. So it was like a just over 2 week turnaround from posting,
Whew.
which was
Oh my gosh.
which is quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Well, and you were talking about your social media views. It when I was looking at it, I found you online
Yeah.
a few weeks before this video dropped, and so
Oh, amazing.
yeah, so when I saw the video, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so pretty."
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm imagining just all of these people who have latched on to your music now, having heard that, having seen the video. So that's got to be a great feeling.
Oh my gosh, no, it literally is just it's the best gift seeing people connect with the song and, like, now using it at their own weddings, like,
Mhm.
getting to be such a small part of someone's big day and such an emotional moment, like, just absolutely means the world to me, and it is, like, the biggest honor of my life.
Yay! Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so I know that you said you set out to write a song specifically for your dad.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this, and this is kind of me putting you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Um, when you were thinking of the vision in your mind of what you wanted it to sound like, or wanted the lyrics to read like, did you have any other like influences as far as other amazing first dance country songs? Like
Mm.
some that come to mind are like I Loved Her First, or like the Cinderella song. I don't even remember what the title of it is. But you know what I mean? I don't know. Do you have
For
any like
sure.
influences from that? Yeah.
I mean, I definitely knew that I wanted it to make me feel the same way that so many iconic first dance songs make me feel.
Yeah.
And honestly, before writing it, I was like, okay, like if we don't get it accomplished, because I knew it had to be perfect. I knew it had to
Yeah.
be exactly what I wanted to say to my dad to use it on wedding day. So I was like, okay, like my backup song, if I don't write one, would be My Little Girl, Tim McGraw, because it's just so
Yes.
absolutely amazing and literally makes me cry. So I was like,
Mhm.
my pillar, I guess, is kind of like writing the song has to make me cry,
Yeah.
which it did.
The
And
standard, yes.
yes, and I actually have a song that I wrote for my mom called When God Made You My Mother, which I also have a father version of. And that song, it's been really cool. It's been used in so many weddings, and I actually danced with my mom to that song at my wedding.
Aw.
But just seeing kind of the success that that song has had for me, I think that was
Mhm.
also a good reference for me of something that already connected with fans. And
Yeah.
again, that song was just born out of pure love in my heart for someone that means so much to me. So those were kind of like my reference points as far as like, I have to feel this. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, and I'm glad that you brought up the song about your mom, When
Yeah.
God Made You My Mother. So in going through your catalog and doing the research like I do, I was like, wow,
Mhm.
she has this beautiful song about her dad, and she also has this beautiful song about your mom. I mean, I feel like that really just speaks a true testament to the wonderful relationship you have with your parents. Tell me a little bit about how you decided to write a song for your mom as well.
Yeah. So I wrote that song also with Donna King. She's a writer on Give Me Away and When God Made You My Mother. And I remember Mother's Day was coming up, and I didn't have a gift for my mom yet. And I was like, you know what? My mom is like my biggest supporter just of me as a person and also just in my career. And I was
Mhm.
like, dang, like I think a really cool gift would be to write a song for her. And like I've touched on, like it's so easy for me to like write how I feel about someone in song. And Donna knows my mom so well. And I was just like, I don't even have like an idea behind this. You know, a lot of times with writing a song, you come in with a title.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm just gonna write from the heart. I need to like tell my mom what she means. And this idea of like, you know, I just feel like God was just giving me such a gift when he made my mom my mom. And my mom often says, and I touch on this in the song, like that I am a gift to her, but it's like, no, really, like I just want to kind of like hold a mirror up and reflect that back onto you and let you know that
Oh,
truly like you mean so much to me. So yeah, it was a
yeah.
Mother's Day gift. And that song also turned into so much more, which was so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it really does speak a lot of your writing ability to be able to share very personal sentiments about your family and yet still translate and relate to so many people who also have similar experiences, or can just say, yeah, that my mom feels like that for me too. Like that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. I mean, I definitely like to keep that in mind in my songwriting. Like, oh gosh, like if there's other people that listen to it, like, is there a line that is so deeply personal to me, but that also feels universal at the same time? And whether or not it's the full song that does that, I always like to like include a moment where it feels like everyone can relate. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it makes so much sense to me now. I'm so glad that I finally got to talk to you and ask you about those two specifically, just because I was like I said, doing my research. Um, those two were the ones that really struck out to me as something that's heartfelt and yet
Mhm.
also something that just kind of transcends the moment. Like you were
Thank you.
saying, like
Yeah.
with the virality of give me away, it just shows how much of an impact that music has on so many different people, you know?
I appreciate you saying that. That's so sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I we talked a little bit about the relationship you have with your parents. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about your background, where you're from originally, because I know you said they live now like close in the Murfreesboro area. I'd
Yeah.
love to know more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, I was born in Wisconsin, but I lived most of my life and I claim Pennsylvania as home.
Mm, cool.
And then let's see, I lived from in Pennsylvania from 8 years old to 18. And like as soon as I turned 18, I was dying to get down to Nashville. And my parents and sister now live here as of 3 years ago, which is the greatest gift, like having family nearby.
Yay.
But I also have two older brothers. I'm the youngest of four. I
Wow.
grew up in a very loud house. Anyone who's like around all six of my immediate family members is like, whoa, you guys are loud. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I gravitated towards songwriting and performing. I feel like, you know, as one of four kids, you almost have to like compete for attention. And I was
Yes.
just always like dancing and performing and singing around the house. And, I don't come from a musical family. I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, but I think just growing up in that way and having a family that loves music is really what made me a musician.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you could like pinpoint a point in time when you were like, "This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life." Do you have
Mhm.
that idea? Yeah. What is it?
Yeah, so honestly, I can't think of a time where like I didn't want to do music. Like looking back even at like old home videos, like I was singing basically before I could talk.
Oh.
But I remember like one moment that was like, "Oh, this is actually like something I could do," was
Mhm.
being at my first concert. It was Keith Urban. And seeing him
Cool.
up on stage and, like, just seeing, like, a performer in real life rather than, like, on a TV screen, it just kind of, like, made it feel more real, and I like, immediately started taking guitar lessons and doing all the things to, take that first step to get that dream.
Oh wow. Well, and especially an artist like Keith Urban, I mean, out of this world talented, right? Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Do you know how long ago that was? Like, maybe a year? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, when I went to my first concert, I was 8 years old, and my
Oh,
mom is a huge Keith Urban fan. I was honestly so spoiled in that whole experience. She somehow, like, had backstage passes, so I got to meet him, which I think
what?
just, like, even more made that first concert, like, so magical. Just kinda getting to see him backstage and chat with him and seeing how down to earth he is, and this is kind of his life when he's off stage, but then on stage, it's this, and it really just yeah, it was that moment of, "Wow, okay, this is what I'm gonna do."
Yeah. Well, and you just talked about that down to earth moment. It's nice to see artists who can kind of like strip away the persona of on stage and still
Yeah.
be just as genuine and just as, you know, relatable in person as they are whenever you see them on stage. I think that's really that's one of the great things that I think Keith Urban does is he's able
For
to
sure.
communicate like through his amazing talent that
Mhm.
he's still a really good guy,
Oh, for
and
sure. That's one thing that I just love about the country music community too. I feel like it's so easy to find people that are like-minded in that way, that just, like, have really good, like, morals and are very genuine
yeah.
people on and off stage, and I'm just so grateful to, like, be in this community and surrounded by that.
Yeah. I love hearing that just because at times I wonder, and I don't think I've ever had an artist tell me that it's like as cutthroat as I think it is. Like I
Yeah.
really do. Every artist that I've had an interview with has been like, yeah, this community is wonderful, and we all work together, and we support each other, and I think that's like very encouraging to
Yeah.
hear, especially if somebody's listening to the episode right now and kind of thinking about making the jump about moving and trying to break into the industry. Like it's pretty encouraging to know that there's other people who have done that exact same thing.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
you know,
Yeah, I'm so grateful just for collaboration and, the people who have gone before me and who have then turned around to, like, give me advice and help lift me up, and, like, that's my goal too as an artist, is to, like, share in that, because I'm still learning, but I've also learned so much, and just to be able to, like, help a freshly 18-year-old like I was move to town and be like, "Here, this is what I've learned," like, to me, I think there's no reason not to do that. I mean, you
yeah.
see just, like, how many people are succeeding. This town is, like, always growing, and I think there's just room for so many people at the top. You just in my mind, you just can't have for your own happiness that, like, dog
Yeah.
eat dog, like, view on it.
Yeah, I completely agree because it's like if you always feel that way, you're always going to feel like beat down. You're always going to feel like you're not at the top if you constantly feel like somebody's doing more than you are,
For
So
sure. Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm sharing that.
Okay.
I like
Let
it.
me yeah, let me ask you this. We talked a little bit about Keith Urban. Who are you listening to right now? Like who are your musical influences as far as like what you're
Mm.
listening to, top of your playlist, and we can get into like who you grew up listening to, but like who's top right
Yeah.
now for you? Yeah.
Um, well, I've really been listening to Kelsey's new album. I love her
So
title
good.
track, Patterns. She's always been such an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
I love how she blends country and pop just so well. Also just love girl anthems.
Yes,
I
period. Mhm.
also love an artist named Ben Rector.
Yeah.
I came across him in early high school and have just been absolutely obsessed with the way that he crafts a song. I get a lot of my, like, heartfelt inspiration from him. Like I said, just, like, the
Aw.
way he makes me feel listening to his music is also the way, like, I wanna make people feel through my songs. So I
Hmm.
definitely pull a lot of inspiration from him. I'm trying to think who else. I feel like, honestly, embarrassed to admit, but I've been listening to so much Christmas music already. I am very much a Halloween, put the tree up the next day kinda gal. As soon as the sun starts going down earlier, I'm like, "I need to be cozy," so I'm already locked in on that, and, have been, like, looking at Spotify to see who's releasing new stuff and reaching back to some classics, so, definitely digging the Sabrina Carpenter Christmas album and just her in
Oh,
general. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I haven't heard her Christmas album. I've been like blowing up Short and Sweet like every day. This
Oh,
week
yes.
specifically, I don't know what it is, but I have been. Oh my gosh. And
It's
then well, so we just talked about Christmas music and
yeah.
you just told me that you were gonna release a Christmas single. Tell me
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote this song last year, um, kind of as like a dropping a hint to your boyfriend to propose song. I
Oh,
just feel
that's
like Christmas
cute.
time is the year, or the not the year. Christmas time is the season of like proposals, and my husband proposed last year around Christmas time, so the song worked for
Aw.
me. So I'm hoping that people can use it to slide a little subtle hint to their honey to
Wink, wink.
yeah,
Yes.
to get the end goal.
Well, okay, so and we talked a little bit about your wedding day and that kind of stuff. What's married life been like since you just recently got married? Congratulations,
Yeah.
by the way.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Married life is the best. It's so interesting because my husband Kyle and I say, like, we feel like we've been married for years. So it feels like not much has changed, but yet so much has changed. I just feel like intentionally making decisions as one is just there's just so much peace and love with that.
Good.
Not that we didn't do that before, but it's just to a whole other level when you're married.
Yeah.
And it's been so fun. We went on a mini honeymoon right after the wedding. We went to New Orleans. We're going on
Fun.
our actual honeymoon in January. We're going to Belize. So it's
Oh,
fun just like getting to experience things. And we're, drawing up plans as a couple, and we both do music. So that's a really fun element to our relationship too. Just getting to like have the same love for the same thing is like something that's so special and such a gift in our marriage. And as we're like finishing up the year, getting to just work together so much has been awesome. Thankfully, we're not like the type where we spend so much time together and want to kill each other. Like we genuinely like work so well together, and yeah, marriage has just been great.
cute. Okay, and you talked about how y'all like songwrite together. Is he also a singer or does he play or does he mostly write?
Yeah. So Kyle does a little bit of everything. And
Cool.
honestly, like before us even dating, like he genuinely was one of my absolute favorite people to collaborate with because he's just so versatile in what he does and can kind of conform to any room and figure out what he needs to be that day. So he's
Mhm.
a phenomenal lyricist and songwriter. He's a producer. He's my producer. Um,
Cute.
and yeah, he used to be out on the road with an artist, Brett Young. So he
Yeah.
was his band leader. So he's a multi instrumentalist. I mean, he's just honestly so creative. He helps me with so much of my content and like video editing. I just like watch him sometimes doing what he does, and I'm just like absolutely amazed. It's
Oh,
really fun that we share that. Yeah.
yes, definitely. Oh, you just said something that really just like sparked something in my brain.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I was reading in it might have been a bio, it might have been from Trevor or Carissa about
Mhm.
how you worked with hitmaker busbee,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Before his
Yeah.
untimely death. Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about how you got connected with busbee.
Yeah. So prior to moving to Nashville, in high school, I started making trips here from Pennsylvania with my mom. We essentially lived in Nashville for 2 weeks, Pennsylvania for 2 weeks, Nashville for 2 weeks, and did that for a year and a half,
Wow.
which was very jolting and interesting in the trying to finish high school aspect.
Mhm.
But anyways, through those trips, I got connected with Daniel Leigh, who is my previous publisher. And about 4 months into living here, Daniel asked me to get coffee one day, and he was like, "Hey, like, we've been connected for a while, and now that you're living here, like, how would you feel about, working together?" And he's like, "I've got this guy, busbee. Do you know who he is?" And I was trying to play it cool, but on the inside, I'm like, "Yeah, I know who busbee is." Yeah, like freaking out. And he's like, "I would love to set you up on a write with him to see if it would make sense for us to like all collaborate on a deal." And what's so funny is that first write that I had with busbee, I was getting over a cold and I was on so much cold medicine that I was so out of it that like I try to be really present in a write, and I felt like I contributed nothing, and I thought I like absolutely blew it, but he saw something in me through that. And yeah, I ended up getting signed to my first deal. It was a joint venture with BMG and busbee, and got to just work on so much music with him. Obviously our time was cut very, very short, which was a huge loss to just the whole music community, and a big loss in my life.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from him in our short amount of time together, and am like forever grateful that I had that moment of like the stamp of approval from busbee. Like he just has worked with so many legends, and I'm just so honored that I got to be a small part of that.
Oh my gosh. That's such a cool story. I'm so glad that
Yeah.
you were able to share that with me because like I think about that name and I'm like, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, yeah. I know where you're coming from with that. That's amazing. Well,
Thanks.
okay, to bring up a little bit of your past and now we'll jump forward a little bit and talk more of the future. You
Yeah.
talked about how you're going to release the single for Christmas.
Yeah.
You also have possibly another single coming out early next year. What
Mhm.
else do you think is on the horizon for the end of the year slash 2025 on top of your amazing honeymoon in Belize? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I would really, really, really love to put out another project. I released an EP at the end of 2023,
Yep.
and I would love to be able to do that again. I feel like I've grown so much as an artist, and really kind of just like honed in on my writing style a bit more. So I just think it would be so fun to get to put out a project of songs together rather than just singles.
Yeah.
So definitely working towards writing for that at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Definitely going to sprinkle in some singles along the way, but my like number one goal is to get out and to perform. I
Yeah.
love to be on stage. And it's been really fun, like through this song, kind of performing well on social media, like seeing comments of people that are like, girl, come to our city, like, please. So it's really encouraging seeing like that there is like people that would actually want to show up to shows. So I'm really, really hopeful that I can secure that in the new year.
Yeah, definitely. So, listeners out there, make sure that you follow along with Riley Roth. If you aren't following her on social medias, how about you do us a favor and shout out your social media handle so we can find you?
Yeah, it's my social media is at Riley Roth on everything. RILEYROTH.
Perfect.
TikTok,
Easy
Instagram,
peasy.
Twitter, all the things, or X. Yeah.
Yes, easy peasy, nice to easy to remember. I love it. Riley, thank you so much for coming on this episode today. Do you have anything that you'd like to promote that I haven't asked you about, or anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to before we hop off the call today?
Mm. Honestly, I would just like to say shout out to my people, my family, my friends for just being such a inspiration in my life, both in song and just in who I am as a human. You know, we touched on my parents, and my siblings and my husband. Like I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by so much love. That makes it so easy to write songs, and I just want to shout out the people who've been listening to them and using them in their own weddings and their own life moments. Like it absolutely just means so much and fills my heart with so much joy. I'm just so grateful.
Yay! Oh, and I'm so grateful that you took the call with me today. I think this has been such a great chat. I've loved learning more about you. So, listeners out there, make sure that you go stream Give Me Away, as well as the rest of Riley's catalog, because she's got some great songs in there. Y'all be sure to check her out. This is Leigh with Coda Country, and I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks, Riley.
Thanks for having me.